Hey folks, Mike with Chasing Trail here. On a ride today with my dad, Pukalach. We are just south of Red Bluff. I believe the plan today is to head west out towards Paskenta. As far as we can go while staying on the asphalt in any case. I know I said I wouldn't use the chest mount again, I lied. I did get a new helmet, the Shoei Hornet X2. And I will be able to do a chin mount setup with that helmet. Unfortunately, I have a big fat face and I need thinner cheek pads. So I ordered those thinner cheek pads. I had to put thinner cheek pads in this helmet too. In fact, pretty much every helmet I order. So those are on the way. They should be here, I think, Monday. Today is Sunday, so tomorrow. And then I'll be able to switch to using that helmet. So my apologies. I hope the angle's good. It's really hard to tell. I thought I would use this ride opportunity also to do a review on this bike. I realized I had never done one, so let me see what my mileage is at. Total miles, I'm at 2558. So I've owned this motorcycle for about 7 months now. 2,500 miles. What can I say about it? Well, it's the best street motorcycle I've ever ridden. The end. Kidding but not kidding. The only thing I have done to this bike, well, two things I suppose. I got a custom seat made for it by Seth Lamb, which is fantastic. That was a must. I feel like that's a must on every motorcycle I've ever ridden. And I put this, I don't know if you can see it, but there's a phone cradle here. It's the default nav cradle. And this thing was like 30 bucks on Amazon. It slots in and uses the base nav cradle and works perfect for a phone. I've had to rearrange this phone a little bit because of where the buttons are and sort of put it in reverse, but it still works fine. And then you can have all the same features of a $700 nav unit just using your phone. This is, not that I've ridden a ton of street bikes, a fair number, I feel like. This is hands down the best street bike I've ever ridden. It's incredibly planted. The suspension's great. It corners like it's on rails. It's got a tremendous amount of torque. I don't remember the exact number, but it's a lot. More power than a person really needs on the street. I'll talk about that more later. Let me talk about some of the things I love. Like I said, it rides really great. Very, very planted and stable. Corners on rails like the motor. You can tell it's running, but it's very smooth, almost too smooth. I have a bit of a love affair with these BMW Boxer engines, and part of that's probably because my first street bike I ever rode. And I didn't own it. My dad let me take it with me to college. And so I rode it for a few years. It was a 1976 BMW 60/6, one of the old school Boxers. It shaked, rattled, and rolled, but didn't go over about 70 miles per hour. It was a perfect bike to learn riding on the street on. And so I have a strong sentimental love for these BMW Boxer motors. I like the vibration and the shake they provide. The way they torque when you give them some gas at a stop, they kind of roll to the side. This one is almost too smooth. It's incredibly smooth motor. It pulls like a, I don't know what, a bat out of hell. Really, really strong. Accelerates like you wouldn't believe. I absolutely love the TFT display on these BMWs. It's awesome. It looks great. Shows you all the information you need. There's a wheel. I don't know if you'll be able to see, but over on the left hand grip, there's a little wheel that lets you toggle, so I can cycle through all the menus back and forth very easily. Select different settings, play music, answer the phone, do all kinds of shit. It's very easy to use, and this is a brilliant system. So I really like their wheel toggle and the TFT. The brakes on this thing are incredible. I know they're Brembos. I don't know if they're Stylema or not, but this thing will stop on a dime. The seating position for me is perfect. It's a very mild forward lean. I actually don't really like being perfectly upright. I get a weird pain in my lower back for some reason. Also, being a naked bike, having just a slightly forward lean I think helps with the wind pressure. This bike feels very neutral. Like I almost don't notice the wind pressure unless I'm going about 75 miles an hour, and then you start to feel it a little bit. But right here, we're at 63 indicated, which is 60 miles an hour by GPS. I feel very neutral. Like I've noticed the wind's there, but it's not annoying or bothersome in any way. And I don't know what it is about the shape of this thing or something, but it just cuts through the wind so nicely. Only other naked bike I've ridden recently is my dad's Triumph Bonneville T120, and that one you feel the wind a little bit more. I think it's just because that one you are perfectly upright, whereas this one, this will vary by your height and everything. When I look on Cycle Ergo, I think it indicates a 7-degree forward lean for me. The knee to foot the distance is a little cramped. It's fine. I haven't had any aches or pains there yet, but I would not want to be any more crouched than this is. This is sort of my limit. This bike is just an absolute weapon for riding on the street. For my use, which I wasn't going to travel on it, I'm not commuting on it, I'm just a weekend warrior who wants to go out and ride on primarily backcountry roads. This thing is just amazing for that type of riding. I absolutely love it. So that's a lot of praise and things I like. Let's talk about things I don't like. And there are some, as there will be with any motorcycle. It is a very heavy bike. It is over 500 pounds. It barely weighs less than a GS. They're very close in weight. This one does carry its weight lower, so when you're pushing it around in the garage and stuff, it doesn't feel as unwieldy as a GS, which has its weight up higher. But it is a very heavy motorcycle. Gas mileage, it gets about, I average around 45 miles per gallon. My dad gets over 50 on his GS. He's on a 2019 1250 GS right ahead of me there, and he gets slightly better gas mileage. I don't know if that's just because his fairing and windshield helps him be a little more aerodynamic, whereas this one is just dragging me through the wind. That's all I can think of. Could be a gearing difference. Otherwise, they're the same motor. I'm struggling to think of anything else I don't like. It's a really, really good bike. I think the biggest thing is the cost. This is a very expensive motorcycle. They're just shy of $20,000. Is it worth that? To be completely honest, no. You know, this is hard to answer. Value is really subjective. What is it worth to you or not? The only reason that I bought this bike and was able to is because of the deal they had on it. It was a leftover 2020 model, so it was pretty heavily discounted. On top of that, they had 0.9% financing for 4 years, and then you do a balloon payment at the end of that 4 years. So my monthly payment is pretty low. If it had not been for that financing deal and discount, there's no way I would have bought it. And even with that deal, I'm constantly questioning if I should keep this bike or not. It's just a very expensive motorcycle, especially for how much riding I do. And more I'm gravitating towards off-road riding, and I just love dual sports. They're so versatile. I really enjoy riding them. I just think they're cool, even if they're not as good for a pure street bike. There's no bike, if I could trade this bike for any other street bike, there's nothing I'd want to trade it for. It is my ultimate street bike. But from a pure value proposition, when I ride my dad's Triumph Bonneville T120, I like that bike damn near as much as this one, and it was a lot less expensive. Not a lot less if you add up everything he did, but it was definitely less. And I think there's a lot of other bikes out there that I would probably enjoy 90% as much for a lot less money. So that is my biggest issue with this bike, is just the expense. Also, and this isn't a huge deal, my nearest dealer is an hour and 15 minutes away. They're a really awesome dealer, Ozzy's BMW in Chico, California. Those guys are awesome. Jesse, really good dude. No BS, no bullshit. They let you test ride bikes. Only dealer anywhere around here I know that does. I guess A&S probably does too. I don't know why it's only, you can test ride $20,000 European bikes, but you go into a Japanese dealership and they won't let you. It doesn't make any sense to me. I've raged about this before, but so other than the seat and this phone cradle, the bike is 100% stock. That's one of the things I loved about it. I feel like straight from the factory, the bike needs nothing other than a seat, which every motorcycle needs, in my opinion. It's perfect. It's damn near perfect, just as it is. There's nothing I will change or do to this motorcycle. I did buy the luggage, the BMW luggage. It's keyed to the same key. Oh, one more con. It uses a key fob. I fucking hate key fobs in motorcycles. I just want a good old-fashioned key that I stick in the ignition and I can see it there. I only have this one key fob. If I lose it, I'm fucked. And they're very expensive to replace. Key fobs don't belong on motorcycles. Just give us a good old-fashioned key. Other than that, this thing is amazing. I don't really have too much else to say about it. But I thought after 7 months of ownership and 2,500 miles, I would give it my little review. Am I going to keep it? I don't know. A big part of it is honestly riding with my dad. He's been a BMW rider for a long time now. Like I said, I have a sentimental attachment to these BMW Boxers, but I am constantly struggling with, is this worth the monthly payment I'm paying on it every month, and knowing I'll have that big balloon payment coming in about 3.5 years. I don't know. I constantly go back and forth of I'll keep it, I'll sell it, I'll keep it, I'll sell it. So that's one thing I mentioned I'd touch on later, having a 1250 motor like this. This is way more power than I need on the street. It's fun, don't get me wrong, but I'm a pretty tame rider. I'm a person who barely speeds in my car. I've never been pulled over in my life. I'm not a crazy rider. I don't ride hard or particularly fast. But on this motorcycle, when I'm not with my dad like this to help him keep me at a legal speed, I cannot control my speed to legal speeds. I ride this thing way too fast, and it's only a matter of time before I either get a ticket or get myself hurt. With a motor like this and a bike that feels so incredibly capable, you can be going 75 miles an hour and just really not even realize it on backcountry roads where you shouldn't be. So that is something, and it feels a little bit silly to say, like, just have some discipline, just control your throttle hand. Sure, but when you have it here rumbling between my loins, giving me this tingling sensation, and just the bike wants to go faster. It's just, it does it so well. It's like, come on, pussy. I don't know. No, I was talking about having a motor this big. I just think it's for me, it's overkill for what I need on the street. I think somewhere between 750 to 900 would be perfect. Enough to go down the freeway at 75 miles an hour, enough to still be plenty of fun and have passing power, but not just be stupidly fast like this thing is. And probably get a little bit better gas mileage too. This is fun, don't get me wrong. I just think it's overkill for what I need on the street, and like I said, I'm just going to get myself into trouble. So bikes I'd look at to replace this with would be the Suzuki GSX 750S, which is another naked bike, a Kawasaki Z900 RS, in particular the new special edition. I love the look of that bike. I was really enamored by it, and now they have a special edition with better suspension and Öhlins shock on it. I'd be very interested in one of those, or even the cafe version. Probably the naked one. A V-Strom 650 XT. Particularly like that one. It's got a 19-inch front with tubeless spoked wheels, so I could do some, so on rides like this. Look at this power. Whoa, shit! It's a fucking rocket ship! Anyway, V-Strom 650 XT, it could do the kind of gravel roads that we're going to avoid today. So that would be very interesting to me. Maybe a Tracer 9 GT. Number of other bikes, some of those aren't that much cheaper though. I think the new Tracer 9 GT is like $15,000. That's barely cheaper than this. So there you have it. Here's my review of the 2020 BMW R1250R. It is an absolute street weapon. Holy shitballs! Brakes are so good. Stopping power is incredible. One more thing I don't like. The quick shifter. This bike does have a quick shifter, but it's quirky. It really only feels good above third gear, so if you go third, fourth, fifth, sixth, that's fine. I don't use it below, if I'm going down, I don't go down below fourth. I clutch to go into third, or it gets really jerky, and I've even had the back tire skid a little bit. And it's just, you have to be really deliberate with your pushing on it. If you aren't very, very deliberate, you can end up between gears in a false neutral. And it just feels not that great to use. I do use it quite a bit actually in these higher gears, but I feel like it's unrefined. This bike kind of beats you up a little bit on these bumpy roads. I'd much rather be on a dual sport on a road like this. I'm just feeling every little bump. It's getting tiresome. It's knocking me around. The bike still feels planted. It's just not my favorite type of road to be on this bike on. I think he's having more fun on his GS up there with this longer travel suspension and bigger front wheel. It's really pretty out here. Try to focus on that and not how this road's just beating the shit out of me. I hope we're taking some other route out of here because I don't want to ride on this road again. Oh my god. Oh, fuck's sakes. Oh, god damn. I'm gonna whine to him here. Nope, he's not gonna give me the opportunity. He probably knows I want to complain. Actually, this road looks like it's in better condition. Thank God. That's the road I will never choose to ride on again on this bike. Oh, that's a bumpy bitch. Yeah, this is not the ideal bike for these roads. When I mentioned that to my father, he said, "What a pussy you are." When I offered to swap bikes, he didn't seem too keen to hop on this one.